For example, if you're an auditor, somebody can call you somewhere else to help them audit the books of accounts. And probably this is a way from, like, can I say, this is not a client of the company that you work for, but somebody just called you out there in Luganda, what they can call a chuchuba in Luganda. That's how they call it. And that's still a gig, you know. And I think it's not bad, depending, because every profession actually has a gig, depending on how you can actually position yourself for you to be a part of that. Well, right about now, let's cross over and take a look at what's happening into the press. I've got the Daily Monitor with me here and the New Vision, and definitely we shall be reviewing what is really happening. Now, to kickstart off here with the Daily Monitor, I can see on the top page, of course, it says government freezes staff, hires in directive, and of course, the government in a raft austerity measures has also said that civil servants not verified during the payroll audit will be deleted, of course, will be deleted, first of all, and all contracts for works and goods and services will be quoted in Ugandan shillings, and it has restricted advertising to government media outlets. Quite strict aspects in here, as we can observe, and I can also see, of course, something on the State of the Nation's address yesterday for the president, where General Museveni blamed ADF attack on intelligence flows, you know, keeping the intelligence to flow. So definitely you'll find out further of the details when you get yourself a copy of the New Vision as we dwell further into this. Now, of course, on the New Vision, I can see ADF attack on students, a sign of weakness, and of course we see civil servants to be struck off, that is the payroll, and I can see still here in the book series, God calls patience to start a church. I mean, you'll find out more of that when you get yourself this copy of the New Vision. And of course, Iran waives visas, that is for Ugandans, and of course, all these discussions following the result of the visitation of the president of the Republic of Iran. And of course, I can see here there is an image of the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the most Reverend Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, greeting Iranian President. Actually, if I may show you a little bit, that is the picture in there, as you can observe it. He's greeting, the President of Iran there. Of course, yes. And of course, part of the details that we're discussing here with a waivering of the visas, that is for the Ugandans. Now, government appoints 92 judicial officers, as well as national census postponed. What could that be as a result of that? And I can see here, down here, the national population and housing census that was supposed to take place in August has been postponed. That is sometime next year, according to Godfrey Nabongo, the deputy director, that is of the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Okay, you find out further of the details. Could it be finance issue? Could it be manpower issue? Well, that could be. But of course, one leads to the other. If you don't have enough finances, remember the people that you're going to employ to do the exercise will need some payments and all that. So it could be the issue as a result of that. Okay, now as we break in further, I can see government urged, that is to absorb skilled female youth in wealth creation projects. And of course, you can see here trainees demonstrating how to connect or tap during influencing exclusive access to girl education workshop. That was a Fairway Hotel in Kampala. That was last week. Now, the government should connect, that is young people, especially girls who have acquired vocational skills. Of course, linking up with quite a lot of, to dwell into the wealth creation perspectives. Of course, regardless that you have the skill that you've been trained, actually, you now possess the skill. But the question is, how are you putting that skill out there? To create wealth. Is it benefiting you? So that's what is going to be the bigger aspect here. And also malaria vaccination, that is to kick off next year. You'll be finding out further of the details when you get yourself a copy of the New Vision, as of course Museveni issues security orders to fight terrorism. yeah, you'll find out that when you get yourself a copy. That is of the new vision in 7 issues, security orders. That is to fight terrorism. Of course, we still see unverified civil servants to be deleted from the payroll. We find out that. And of course, tourism earnings rise again as Uganda marks the Chimpanzee Day. But of course, the ultimate question is that, are we getting back to the pre-pandemic levels? That's a good, some question to really ask yourself over that. Of course, I can still see in a brief here that over 4,000 chimpanzees in Uganda have a reason to swing to their traditional rain dances. Uganda joins, that is the rest of the world, to celebrate the International Chimpanzee Day today. Okay, of course, taking a look at tourism. Now, of course, before I put this on hold, I can see government gets that is 241 billion Ugandan shillings from mining and oil sectors. Now, government collected 241.3 billion from the extractive sector in the financial year 2020-2021. A financial year, a report has just revealed. You will get further details when you get yourself that copy. Now, dissecting further to the Daily Monitor, what is happening? Of course, 70 sites flows in ADF attack. Yes, of course, talking about flows, you know, some sorts of incompetences there. And over 5,000 trucks stuck at borders as drivers strike. That is not good. I mean, trying to consider people that have merchandise that is coming in from the borders and it's going to cross the borders. It's coming in from a foreign country. What is it going to the result? I mean, when that happens, that means it's likely to cause a scarcity of certain commodities around the nation, and of course that means that prices of the commodities will go high once there is scarcity, and that will lead to some sort of inflation in the longer run as we take a look at this. But anyway, let us of course hope for the best as a result of this. You know, I always say that sometimes when you see events that are happening somewhere else, you normally, I mean, most especially we Ugandans sometimes don't really take time because we have this perception that, you know, that doesn't concern me, that concerns those people in that country. But little do you know that, you know, it moves around. One event in a certain country can affect activities in another country. So that means you need to be at par with whatever is happening, with whatever is going on, for you to be in position to actually fulfill that. Okay. Now, further, we see government holds recruitment of new public servants. Of course, and recruitment of new public servants has been put on hold. What could that be the reason? So probably you wanted to get a government job, so you get to hold back a little bit. Now, accountants ask for inclusion in the parish development model program. Yeah, you find out part of the details here in the Daily Monitor. And of course, the UBOS postpones census till sometime next year, of course, due to some challenges that you will be in position to see. And of course, I can see here that the UBOS executive director says that they have only received 165 billion of the 339 budgeted for the census. So that's literally half of what they're supposed to obtain. Yeah, of course, finances is the biggest factor in here because you need manpower, and once you don't pay them, absolutely, some may not give you the right information because they'll go to the field to collect this information with a biased mindset, with a biased spirit. So what do you anticipate? You know, it's not going to be as excellent as that. Now, of course, journalists here tipped on reporting about refugees and migrants. Yeah, you can find out more of that as you get yourself a copy. Now, of course, I can see among most rules to put brakes on accidents. Now, Speaker asked the police to scale up enforcement of traffic compliance. That is in regard to right of way and use of lead cars, sirens, and the flashing lights. You get your details there. Now, oil and gas extraction, lack of transparency worries the minister. Of course, transparency here can actually be diverse. when it comes to steps being taken, probably some of the stakeholders are not reporting what exactly is on ground, and the limited transparency is worrying the minister. That is in the oil and gas expansion. But of course, you'll find out further of the details as you obtain yourself a copy of the new vision. And I can see members of parliament probably get a number plate space. You can still find out that when you get yourself a copy. And something here, doctors link importance, not being able to give birth, most especially men, to chewing cat. Okay, you'll find out cat, it's known as Mairunji actually. Some people call it Mira, so many names they give that. It causes impotence in men. So, and of course I've been seeing the aspect of legalizing actually this drug to be sold out there for medicine purposes. But definitely in most cases, however much they say that it's for medicine purposes, it doesn't really fulfill that. At the end of the day, you get to realize that still people smuggle it for other related uses, and they do what they want. That's up to them at the end of the day, but there are side effects to that. Now I can see principal judge here roots for forced mediation, as we can take a look at that. Still into the Daily Monitor, as I can see finally here, residents decree deployment of soldiers on disputed land. All right, now the images you're observing in there coming in from quite trying to get this place very well, absolutely. But anyway, the situations, that is Mokwano area, I've just been told. Yeah, but you can see it's the situation is a little mildly congested. It's a Friday, and most cases Fridays have that. I think this is the access road around Mokwano, talking about 6th Street, 8th Street, 7th Street. But anyway, according to the look of things here, it's quite very congested and some sort of a fix. So if you're coming in from those areas of access road, and you're heading towards probably coming to town, you might be a little bit delayed, most especially for the people that are coming in from Chibuli. They seem to be the biggest victims here, according to the look of things. Yes, traffic, it's a Friday. It's a Friday. Of course, people have quite lots of plans on Fridays. The rest of the days might seem okay, but it's some kind of a rush hour, most especially when it in the morning hours there. Can see quite a number of private vehicles here, not so many public. Of course, heading towards coming in from those areas of Chibuli, heading to town. And I know that roundabout for really having quite a number of potholes for sure. And that is why we are seeing some, but it's not actually as congested as that. There is jam that is static, and there is that traffic jam that you can go through, and it's really smooth, it's flowing. Heading to other, so that is the situation like there. So you can plan accordingly if you have a journey, if you're planning a journey to head anywhere, and see how efficient that will be for you. Quite a number of pedestrians, not so many as such though, as also we see that people transacting on the way, on the road, having some merchandise there. And sometimes, it's very interesting, most especially if you take a look at areas of downtowns. Sometimes people can be trying to buy something, but they're not buying actually. They're trying to bargain with a seller on the road or anywhere else, and that also leads to some sort of a congestion, most especially that is now human congestion in a way. But it's not as much as here as it is anticipated. That is common, most especially in areas that have lots of people, areas that are densely congested. But also Chibuli is actually a densely congested place, because I believe some of these people are walking from that side, coming in there. And it's quite congested. So you find that you're selling something down the street, and somebody wants to buy it, but they're not sure. And you're trying to bargain. You're trying to bargain it out. But of course now switching our eyes back to the access road. It's well, if you're coming in from Chibuli, probably you might not be as late as that. But of course, on a Monday morning, it's much more worse than that. You know that very well. It's very much more worse. You can see vehicles coming in from that side. Yeah, now there are lots of people that are coming in from 6th Street, 7th Street, 8th Street, and they contribute to some of the people that we are seeing, of course, heading towards town, coming towards town to execute what they're executing. That is in the right perspective. Yes, that is the traffic as we observe it there. So if you're coming in from probably town and you're heading to Chibuli, and probably you plan to use the industrial area, the access road, well, it's a good ticket for you. It's an open ticket for you. Though some people might prefer to use to connect via the clock tower to head in there. But of course, that is dependent on your destination and where you're coming from as a result of that. A number of people here walking, heading to the different destinations. Well, that is it for the traffic updates this morning. Yeah, it's quite, it's conducive. It's not as bad as that. So if you're coming in from those areas, Chibuli, around 6th Street, 8th Street, 7th Street, yeah, you can find your way to the city center. And actually, this is close to the city. You can even walk there in case it's really at its worst. It's 25 minutes past 7, and that is it for our traffic updates this morning. And now let's get into the break. When I return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening on the international community and within the region of East Africa.